What is good, RPG Nation? You just saw a bunch of white boys bobbing their heads because Corey made us a sick new drop for this. Thank you, Corey. And Evan and I are here to talk about your waiver wire options ahead of Week 4. Evan, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, Mike. Happy
God,
to be here.
this is exciting. We're going to talk about some stuff before the Eagles game, so keep an eye out for catastrophic injuries in the Eagles game. We're hoping everybody is good. Baker Mayfield's going to lead them to a big comeback. It's going to be awesome tonight. But first, let's talk about some very clear waiver wire options for your redraft teams before we get too deep and emotional with it. Corey, I see you're sneaking in there. I think we have a special guest this week. Look at that. Ooh. The godfather of RPG Nation himself. He is muted or his microphone isn't working, but we're going to just roll with it. So, first and foremost, if you saw any part of the Miami Dolphins game, Devon Achane needs to be on your team. He's still available in over 80% of leagues. And, Evan, you want to talk about what his scouting report looked like coming into this year and why he's going to take the role from Mostert moving forward?
Yeah, coming out of college, the biggest thing was he kept dropping weight for track season. He was a sprinter for that team for Texas A&M. So he continuously dropped weight. So everybody wanted to see what he could do in his first real offseason, pushing just for football. He gave up sprinting. He's not going to go for Olympic trials or anything like that. So he was a speed guy, speed. And what do we know is the Miami Dolphins love speed.
Oh, yeah. And when they look at the top speed for ball carriers this week, it was Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. And I think Marvin Mims made an appearance, and then Miami Dolphins. So just really cool to see what Achane's going to do moving forward. Corey, you want to talk about a quarterback pickup? We got CJ Stroud on the mind. You think that this is going to keep up for the rest of the year? Or you think it's an unsustainable pace?
Yeah, man. I've been pretty high on CJ Stroud, even pre-draft. I think you came out and said that after he was taken by the Texans, he was pretty dead to you. I've always really liked his talent. I think he's showing it now, even on a team that no one believed in terms of the weaponry. I like what I'm seeing, man. He's going out there and balling. I think the things we've been saying, for the last couple of weeks have been, he just looks like he's playing balls to the wall football. And now his receivers are helping him sustain that. And I think, I don't think there's any stopping this train. I think he's going to continue to look good.
Yeah. And he's available in, I think it's like 82% of leagues on ESPN right now. So if you're doing quarterback streaming, he's playing the Steelers this week, which they're going to give him some trouble, but he's still going to throw for a good amount of yardage there, which brings me to, I wanted to talk about an obvious receiver option, but this is just a perfect segue. Evan, is Tank Dell worth picking up, or is this just a flash in the pan? It's the Nico Collins show moving forward.
Yeah, so the argument on Tank Dell was never how good he was, never was his production in college. It was always his size. And how long will he be able to hold up this production? You look at his route percentage every single week, it's continued to go up. You look at his target share every single week, it's continued to go up. You want to think that rookie camp really helped to solidify some of those connections between CJ and Tank. And you look at that offense, and they're looking to play young, they're looking to play fast. And I think as long as he's healthy, you're going to continue to see some production out of him.
For sure. I think the small guys are making a comeback. This is the little dude renaissance, and I'm here for it. Another little guy that's floating on waivers right now, you got Josh Downs. He has officially taken over the number 2 role in Indianapolis, and as long as Gardner Minshew is playing, there's going to be a little more passing volume as opposed to the Anthony Richardson running show. I think Richardson is going to come back this week, but if he does not, Josh Downs is a deep play for some redraft leagues. The guy that I really want to talk about for receivers, though, can we talk about Josh Palmer, the apparently wide receiver 2 in LA? Truly a heartbreaking injury to see Mike Williams with the ACL tear. That was confirmed today. But as we look at what the snap counts are, the involvement in the offense, the trust from the OC, the connection with Herbert, it's Josh Palmer until it's not. And this is a dynasty show with a lot of rookie fever and a lot of real excitement for Quentin Johnston. But Corey, is there any way that QJ makes an appearance before week 8, or is this just Josh Palmer with some QJ spike touchdowns?
Hey, I mean, now's the time, right? This is what everyone who drafted QJ was waiting for, was that injury that, we could see a mile away coming for either Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. My money was more on Mike Williams. He just tends to do it every year somehow. And this year it just happened to be a really devastating injury. He'll be coming into his 29-year-old season, I think, next year after he's recovered from this, which is not good, especially considering his lengthy injury history. And look, if QJ doesn't show up in these next week or two, even, it does not look good for this year, at least for him. You know me, I was never the QJ guy. I thought and still think that it's Palmer's show until Palmer becomes not trustworthy for whatever reason. But yeah, if QJ doesn't show up in these next couple of weeks, I think it's not gonna look good for the rest of the year. And I think Josh Palmer will be the guy to own there, but we shall see.
Yeah. And for the guys keeping track at home, both are readily available. I'm pulling up the roster percentage. Quentin Johnson's rostered in 50% of leagues and was actually trending down until this injury. And then Josh Palmer's only 6% rostered. So
I will say, if you are a contender and you have QJ like sitting on your taxi or just on your bench, it might be good to just flip him now with like the hype building that he should come in there and like be the wide receiver 2 for the team. I think that's what maybe a lot of QJ truthers are expecting. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we might be all on the Josh Palmer side of this, unless I'm thinking otherwise. But yeah, if that's the case and you are trying to win your league now, might be a good sell window for QJ.
For sure. I have one more wide receiver I'm going to hit before we go into the running backs, tight ends, and then a little sneaky defense for the week. What do you guys think about Jaden Reed? Christian Watson's not practicing. They have a Thursday night game, so not practicing on Monday isn't great news for that. He's been the number one option in Green Bay, and he's looked good every time the ball's in his hands. So, Evan, do you think he's worth a pickup, or do you think this is just a little bit of smoke?
Yeah, so, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but everything I've heard is Aaron Jones is likely to suit up for this game. And if he is going to suit up, I mean, I can just see pounding the rock, trying to let Jordan Love be able to slowly ease his way in. I know what we've seen out of Jordan Love has been encouraging so far, but I think Green Bay just wants to run the ball and let the defense hopefully find its legs and let the defense just kind of carry him.
Watson should be back too, is what I'm reading.
He should be back.
Christian Watson and Aaron Jones into the mix. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to see quite as much production for Jaden Reed, but I'll echo what you're saying, Mike. He's looked good with the ball in his hands. They're using him all kinds of ways, kind of gadgety, but also taking some to the house. And, you know, say what you want about like player profiler, but they've had for a while now, his best comparable player is Stephon Diggs.
That's a lofty expectation.
That's a high tout, I know, for sure. But he does have similar metrics. He dominated in college. He had a 25% college target share. So, you know, he's shown that he can handle a lot of the rock. But yeah, I don't think you should expect for him to continue this level of production with both of those guys coming back this week, probably.
Yep. Before we move off of Jaden Reed, is he going to be the number 2 once Watson comes back, or is Dobbs the number 2? Because I think Reed has been the more trustworthy option, and Dobbs has just been getting the spike weeks with the touchdowns. But Evan, I'll defer to you. Who is the 2 in Green Bay?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Dobbs personally. I think there's a little bit more trust there. I think they trust him to run a little bit better of a route tree, have a little bit more options there as well, and slowly easing Jaden Reed into it.
That makes sense.
I concur.
Cool.
I agree.
Running back waivers are pretty thin this week, if I'm being honest. So Jerome Ford was all the hype last week. You had Kyron Williams, just the white knight for 0 running back teams.
How about Jerome Ford, though, showing up? Like, I think a lot of people picked him up and were like, but he plays the Titans. Like, can we really even flex him? And then, yeah, you sure could have. I hope you did.
Look, I made that mistake in multiple leagues. I saw that he was playing the Titans, and I saw that he was going to be the bell cow. And, yeah, it bit me in the butt letting him rot away on my bench.
Guess who started him in Scott Fishbowl this week?
There you go. There you
go,
boy.
Mike. Yeah, I
only got him in one league, like a single league. I was able to waiver him in a redraft. I have him on some dynasty leagues, but single redraft league. I managed to get him. I did start him, but mostly because, you know, I lost Barkley and Dobbins, so kind of had to.
Yeah. Moving on to tight ends, because running backs, we got one more to talk about. It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Don't
No.
pick him up.
No.
He's on everybody's waiver articles right now. He played a lot because it was a blowout, and Pacheco was dealing with injury.
Wait, can you say Clyde Edwards-Helaire one more time?
Yeah. Do not pick up Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Don't clip just the Edwards-Helaire part. There you go.
I mean, that he has less than a third of the snap share.
Yeah, just
all.
And what a whiff on first round running backs. Just even Jahmyr Gibbs getting 16 inside carries. What are people doing with their first round running backs? Like, give them some space. Let them tote the rock against defenders that aren't ready for them. But
yeah,
that's why we're a podcast and not offensive coordinators. So tight ends. Zach Ertz is back. Zach Ertz is a thing.
I guess so.
The 33, 34-year-old coming off of an ACL tear. I guess if he's the number one option for Josh Dobbs, who's also a real NFL quarterback, I might pick up some Zach Ertz and play him. If you're desperate for tight end and you picked Kyle Pitts and you're tired of waiting for the breakout.
He's about to turn 33, Mike.
Disgusting. Just
crazy.
33-year-old ACL tear quarterback or tight ends get the job done.
Pouring out for Trey McBride, I guess. I had some hope and some faith that Trey McBride could wrestle the starting job away from the 33-year-old with bad knees, but
despicable. And then last but not least, just double check your waiver wires. There's still some leagues where Hunter Henry hasn't been picked up. There's some where Sam Laporta hasn't been picked up, who apparently is the dynasty tight end 3 now, if not 1 or 2.
Yeah, he's looked awesome.
God. Dynasty is more redraft than we want to admit it is. But I'm going to give one shout out to a defense, and then I'll give you guys some final words if you want to talk about your, deep shots before we hit our 15-minute mark. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week. I know it's not going to be pretty because they're going to have themselves a heck of a time tonight trying to guard the monstrous Philadelphia offense. But do you guys know who the Tampa Bay Bucs play next week?
Tell me.
Any guesses?
Some cakewalk.
The New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
With an injured quarterback, with just a mess of an organization as it looks right now. They got up 17-0 and then could not do anything to hold on to that game. So I think the Bucs might give them more of a heartache than people admit, and they are the most readily available defense that you can stream next week. That's my shout out. On the other side, if Taysom Hill is still available and listed as a tight end, go pick him up because he might throw 3 passes for 43 yards and be the tight end 10. But
he might be the QB. He might be the QB going into the week. Like, if it's probably Jameis.
It's 100% Jameis.
But I think there's like a 2% shot it's Taysom Hill.
There's going to be a Taysom Hill package that they're going to roll out, and it's going to be infuriating. But Evan, you got any deep names you want to shout out, or just ready to rock and roll onto helmet stickers?
No, yeah, ready to rock and roll and move on. Hopefully Austin Eckler's healthy next week.
I got one for you.
Because that would be a juicy matchup.
Let's hear it, Corey. Who's your deep waiver option this week?
It might not be deep, but I think that he is a guy that is available, especially in redraft, because why would you, be clamoring for Panthers wide receivers? But old man Adam Thielen is usable. He is startable as much as people don't want to hear it, don't want to admit it, especially in redraft. I mean, I know it's the Seahawks, but listen to his next couple of weeks here. Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins. He has a bye week. Houston Texans. Like, these are, after that, the Colts, one of the worst secondaries in the league. Like, Adam Thielen, if he could stay healthy, he might go on a pretty gross run.
Well, that's disgusting to think about. And also, if Andy Dalton is the quarterback, it raises his ceiling somehow.
It does.
But,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your week 4 waiver wired with Mike, Evan, and this week Corey. Corey, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, no problem. I was gonna be a silent observer, but then you pulled me in.
Surprise. See you guys.